Before you spiral into panic mode and start planning memorial services, let's hit the emergency brake on that absolutely horrifying headline claiming Nathan Frazer is in a coma after a disastrous landing. Yes, it happened. Nathan Frazer is in a coma, but WWE did not suffer a huge loss in that sense. But what did happen on SmackDown was legitimately scary enough without needing to invent catastrophic outcomes, so let's break down the real story of what went wrong during that title match and why every wrestling fan held their breath watching it unfold in real time. On this week's SmackDown, Ilja Dragunov put out an open challenge for his championship, which is always a recipe for exciting television because you never know who's going to answer that call. Nathan Frazer came out first and earned himself the title match opportunity, beating out Tommaso Ciampa, who also wanted that spot. That's a huge opportunity for Frazer, getting a featured championship match on SmackDown against one of the most intense and hard-hitting wrestlers in WWE. It should have been his moment to shine and prove he belongs at that level. The match started off well with Frazer showing he could hang with the Mad Dragon. He was attacking Dragunov aggressively and even seemed to have the advantage at different points, which is saying something considering Dragunov's reputation as an absolute beast who doesn't go down easily. Frazer hit him with everything in his arsenal, throwing strikes, going high risk, doing everything possible to put away the champion. Still, Dragunov refused to stay down because that's what made him so dangerous and compelling as a champion in the first place. Then everything went horribly wrong in the way that makes your stomach drop and reminds you why professional wrestling is so dangerous despite being predetermined. Dragunov was executing a suplex from the top rope, which is already a high-risk maneuver where timing and precision are absolutely critical. During that suplex, Nathan Frazer landed very badly. We're not talking about a slightly awkward landing that looked rough but was fine. We're talking about Frazer being dropped directly on his neck in the kind of landing that makes everyone watching immediately go silent. It was a legitimately scary moment that had fans in the arena and watching at home immediately concerned for Frazer's well-being. Neck landings are no joke in professional wrestling. That's how careers end, how permanent injuries happen, and in the worst cases, how lives are forever changed. When you see someone land on their neck like that, your first thought isn't about the match or the storyline, it's hoping the person can move their limbs and walk away from the ring under their own power. There was a brief moment of relief when Frazer managed to get back to his feet after the botched landing. Wrestling fans are conditioned to think if someone can stand up and continue, they must be okay enough to finish the match. That relief was extremely short-lived because what happened next showed that something was seriously wrong. Frazer and Dragunov were exchanging blows in the ring, and despite not really taking any particularly hard hits during that exchange, Frazer suddenly collapsed. That collapse is what triggered all the alarm bells for everyone watching who understands what that means. When a wrestler collapses without taking a significant strike, it's usually a sign of a concussion or some other serious neurological issue stemming from the earlier impact. The referee immediately went into medical assessment mode, questioning Frazer to check his cognitive function and awareness. You could see the referee then telling Dragunov something, presumably communicating that they needed to wrap this match up immediately for Frazer's safety. What happened next showed the professionalism of everyone involved. Dragunov immediately hit his finisher and the match was brought to an end as quickly as possible. There was no prolonged dramatic finish, no back and forth near falls, just getting to a conclusion so medical personnel could properly evaluate Frazer. That's exactly what should happen in these situations, and both the referee and Dragunov deserve credit for recognizing the severity of the situation and prioritizing Frazer's health over the entertainment value of the match. In the aftermath, Frazer appeared really hurt and not all there mentally, which are classic signs of a concussion or more serious head trauma. He wasn't moving with his usual agility and sharpness, and his demeanor suggested he was struggling with awareness and orientation. These are the moments that terrify anyone who loves professional wrestling, seeing talented young performers potentially having their careers shortened or ended because of the inherent dangers of the profession. Nathan Frazer being injured is particularly devastating because he's one of the more promising young stars currently on the WWE SmackDown roster. While he may still have some distance to go in terms of fully developing his character and reaching his ceiling, Frazer is genuinely well loved by fans who appreciate his high-flying style and natural charisma. His tag team work as part of Fraxium has been quite popular, showcasing chemistry and innovation that suggests a bright future ahead if his body can hold up to the demands. If Frazer is legitimately injured from this incident, it could be a significant amount of time before he wrestles again. WWE has become very serious about their concussion protocol in recent years, learning from past mistakes and the tragic consequences of rushing performers back before they're fully healed. The company rarely ever rushes a star back if they're not 100% recovered, especially when dealing with potential head trauma. That's the right approach, even though it's frustrating for the wrestler who wants to get back in the ring as soon as possible. The concussion protocol WWE has implemented is one of the positive developments in modern wrestling safety. Performers undergo baseline cognitive testing and must pass multiple evaluations before being cleared to return to in-ring action after a suspected concussion. It's a far cry from the old days when wrestlers would get their bell rung and be back competing the next night because nobody understood the long-term consequences of repeated head trauma. We know better now, and protecting wrestlers' brains needs to be the top priority. What makes this situation even more concerning is that Frazer's injury may have been the second to happen on SmackDown that night. Multiple injuries on a single show suggests either incredibly bad luck or potentially some issues with match pacing, fatigue, or other factors that contribute to mistakes happening in the ring. Wrestling is dangerous by nature, but clusters of injuries often indicate something systematic going wrong rather than just random accidents. The coming weeks will reveal more about the severity of Frazer's injury and how long he'll be sidelined. Best case scenario, it was a relatively mild concussion that requires a few weeks of rest and recovery before he can be cleared to return. Worst case scenario, it's more serious head trauma that requires months away from the ring and extensive medical monitoring. Everyone in the wrestling community is hoping for the former while preparing mentally for the possibility of the latter. For fans who were watching SmackDown and saw that moment happen in real time, it was a stark reminder that despite all the athleticism, storytelling, and entertainment value, professional